personal, but yeah, music.
Senators, I come before you today to make a very simple statement, one that is at the very heart of our republic. No, is in itself the very heart of our republic. A statement that shapes reality, that determines the course of the future, that places the past in perfect context. Rome is the world. And treason against Rome is treason against the world itself. And as such, traitors against our republic must be seen as enemies of life incarnate. The world is a dark and wild place. That the burden of its civilization rests on the Senate's shoulders is not an obligation to be taken lightly. We, as a Senate, strive for mercy in all things, but we must, when called upon to act swiftly, must sometimes act with fierce and bloody justice. The world demands this of us.
Already, there has been a lie on the Senate floor. As Honorable Cato has never said something simply in his entire life. And I, as ever, have been proven right by his very opening statement.
Your critique of my oratory style is duly noted.
It was no critique. It was comment. We have all of us had the pleasure to while away the hours in the Senate listening to your melodious voice lead us on a trip from earthly drudgery to celestial concerns. Your musings are the music that lifts us through the spheres and begs us to consider all philosophies and measures of freedom and tyranny, even in the instances when all that is called for by a mortal man is a decision on the levying of taxes. Where would we be without Cato the Younger to overcomplicate even the simplest of things?
We do not discuss taxes here today, Caesar. We discuss treachery and death and the very essence of man and state, and when faced with such concerns, I will summon all my words and hang them in whatever praising I choose in order to express my opinions on that matter.
I expect nothing less. To that end, I will say, I have eaten, I have drank, I have pissed, and I am ready to begin. And I am here to last.
Must we forever be opposite of each other?
Until you finally come to your senses, yes.
Even over a matter such as this, we can't find common ground?
Especially in a matter such as this. We have before the Senate a suggestion from Honorable Cato that we execute Roman citizens. Such a thing is simply not done.
Would you like to tour the public square, Caesar? I mean, I can show you the dark embers of the pyres, the wooden beams prepared for crucifixions, the oilskin sacks full of vicious dogs, and the venomous snakes awaiting only a convicted man, and the depths of a river to complete their task. Shall I show you how often these things are done, simply or not?
You speak of punishments of lesser men, rebellious slaves, committers of patricide.
And we are here to judge greater men and greater crimes? Should we not also be speaking of greater punishments?
We should be speaking of greater mercies.
What does Caesar know of mercy?
As a quaestor, I prosecuted crimes, murder among you. I adjudicated. I was merciful.
I believe that you overstate. As quaestor, you beat back some rebellious tribes in Hispania. This is true. Your military prowess is not on trial.
I am not on trial at all.
The day is young.
You would implicate me in a plot against the Senate?
I would lay out the facts and let majority rule.
By all means, proceed.
Catiline, a former senator, one of your own, conspired with a group of former senators to kill sitting senators.
They are men of passion.
They conspired to overthrow the government of Rome.
They are men of vision.
You defend this atrocity?
No. I do not defend their actions, but I acknowledge that they acted out of a deeply held belief that Rome's citizens are being governed unjustly, and that the Senate has grown disconnected and ineffectual, that violent actions are needed to effect real change that will lead to a greater peace. They believe that this government is no longer an effective steward of freedom.
So, they have your sympathy.
They have my respect. Despite the fact that if they had succeeded, that I too may have well have ended up on the Senate floor with my throat slit.
So you are speaking on their behalf.
I bear them no ill will.
So their passion overwhelmed their good judgment.
I believe so, yes.
Has it overwhelmed yours?
My judgment has historically been unquestionable. The same cannot be said for our accused brothers.
Yes. They lost their seats in the Senate. They fell from influence. They were poor advocates for Rome and its citizens. This is not an act done for love of country. It was an act born of malice, pettiness, and pure ego. But then Caesar would know nothing of these vices, would he?
I can recognize them, same as any man, but I am not intimately familiar with any of them. They have no home in my heart. I am Gaius Julius Caesar, descendant of Venus and friend to all manner of beasts and man.
All.
Yes, although I will admit there are those among us in the chamber who are, on occasion, hard men to love.
Yet you have no problem loving their wives.
Their wives are another matter entirely. And if I am being truthful, it is my love for their wives that increases my love for their husbands. For after experiencing for myself their good sense in their choice of wives, then perhaps I should consider their good sense in other matters.
Far be it from me to question your historically unquestioned judgment. But to do such actions not give you a vested interest in seeing some of your fellow senators eliminated.
Do you suggest that I fomented revolution to cover my affairs?
I suggest nothing. I simply do as I always do. Follow lines of logic.
Honorable Cato, chaste Cato, simple Cato. Marriages in the Senate are a political necessity. Only you remain loyal to your wife. In a way, you remain loyal to Rome. Stalwart, resolute, inflexible, uninspired, dispassionate.
You know nothing of an average man, and even less of my loyalty to Rome. I am not simply a man of rules and dictates, of numbers and points of order. I battled against the rebel Spartacus. I commanded and earned the love of legions of Roman soldiers. I have fought since boyhood for justice and fair judgment. I do this because I love Rome. Because I will do anything for its people. And I know full well that a comfortable bed does not await me at the end of my life. I have known since childhood that I will die to preserve the Pax Romana. I will, without fail, put my body between Rome and those that would seek to destroy the peace Rome has created in the world. And what of you, Caesar? Where would you put your body? Other than on top of the wives of your fellow senators?
As you yourself have said, I put my body on the front lines of a Spain.
I hear tell that you put your body in front of the statue of Alexander the Great and lamented that despite being the same age, you had yet not conquered all that he had conquered.
Is it wrong for a man to have ambitions?
When those ambitions outweigh the public good, yes.
But what if they ensure the public good?
That is not for one man to say.
Of course it is for one man to say. Rome itself was founded by one man. One man chose the site and sought approval from the gods. One man killed his twin in order for Rome to thrive and to know peace rather than discord.
Well, so you would prefer dictatorship to the republic?
No, of course not. Each of us in this room is one man. One man who decided he must serve Rome to the best of his abilities, guided by his conscience, and approved by the gods. Rome is too great an empire to be ruled by a single individual. It needs the passion of all of us who stand in this chamber as one man. Rome is the world. We cannot speak in one voice.
And as men, we are governed by laws. Our ambitions, our passions are held in check by laws.
It's been said that good men don't need laws to tell them to act responsibly.
Good men need laws more than ordinary men. Good men, they make any compromise they deem necessary for the good. Good men will rationalize violence and betrayal. Good men have named themselves good. I believe that we should strive instead to be moral men. Moral men do not need laws because a law is in their hearts. Moral men consider the effects of actions. Moral men are dispassionate in stature, but earnest in execution. Moral men have never mistaken self-interest for the public good. Good men will often need punishment. Moral men punish themselves eternally, for they will never live up to the morality they pursue. Moral men punish themselves eternally, for they will never live up to the morality they pursue, never achieve the equality they seek. Moral men hold themselves to account and are never complete, never fulfilled. I want a Senate full of moral men, not good men. And may the gods help us all know great men.
Who speaks of great men?
He who stood in front of the statue of Alexander and wept because he had as yet conquered nothing. A man of ambition who stands on the Senate floor and plays both sides of the trade. Caesar is clever, a clever man who seeks to be a great man. And a clever man can conceal his machinations under the works of goodness. It was only recently that Caesar sat in judgment of another case involving death penalty. A case that was never fully resolved. A case that some argue was brought merely to test the Senate's decree that the Senate has the right to protect itself from traitors, conspirators, and assassination. That the Senate has the right to punish and punish harshly. And that all who attack the heart of Rome shall be punished. No matter how patrician born be. And here, in the Senate, as we discuss the fate of men's lives, Caesar has become bored and has taken to amuse himself with love notes. Or so is it more insidious than that? It is a missive. A missive from conspirators of Gaius, how I long for your touch. How I burn with a passion lit by Venus herself.
You were right when you first named the contents of the letter.
This letter is from Sevilla, my sister.
So you see, Cato, it's not just the senators' wives that I admire. I cast an eye on their immediate family as well. To your credit, your wife is as honorable as you. But make no mistake, I am in every man's home. Forgive me. This argument has gone on for some time now, and I yearned for some sweet words, some small comfort. And though this may seem to have been a tactic to make poor Cato appear the fool, I assure you it is anything but that. I meant it merely as a gesture to show the Senate how well I love Cato and his family.
Whether intended as insult or affection, your actions here have been by me justly received, and my hubris has fled my body, driven out like a vengeful spirit. I had held a love letter in my hand, and my sister's passion for Caesar has chastised me and caused me to be reminded of the affection I have for him. Yes, we are often adversaries on the Senate floor. But that comes from neutral, unimpeachable love of Rome. We simply have different methods. Caesar has argued passionately for leniency. He asked that we keep these men in separate cities, monitor their actions and correspondences, and we keep these men in separate cities in order to attempt to rehabilitate them. I spoke before of another death penalty case that Caesar was involved in. Another conspiracy against Rome. And while it is true that Caesar appeared sympathetic to the conspirators, it was he who urged the persecution of the case in the first place. He has been judge, a soldier, a general, and a high priest. He was born into wealth and privilege. He sits in the Senate but walks among the people. Patrician and plebeian. He is one of us. But the people think he is one of them because he drinks their wine and sleeps with their women. And they are not incorrect. I mean, Caesar's heart is in no one place, high or low. And he remains ever both defender and quester of Rome. He has defended the Republic against barbarians and now stands before us, questioning that which seems obvious. Final punishment for those who strike at the heart of the Republic. And he does that because he considers questions of politics, morality, and eternity from all sides. I see it now. Many have compared Caesar to Janus, our two-faced god. Some small groups, of course, claim to make this comparison because Caesar speaks from both sides of his mouth. But that is bitterness, and I do not subscribe to it. I believe that he is like James, in that he can see the past and the future, and can navigate both. Caesar was true at all times, in every man's house. I fear though, that Caesar's compassion will be his ruin, and by extension, ours. Caesar has made the thoughtful choice. We must make the hard choice. If you believe that you are not immune and that Rome can function just fine without your breathing body in the Senate. Vote with Caesar. But if you believe that you are one good man, as Caesar describes, or one moral man, as I call it, and that Rome cannot be deprived of you, then vote with me. And send a message that to sin against Rome is unforgivable. Please, make your way to the ballot to cast your vote.
And so they go to prattle and argue and vote with the fear of old, frail men.
Not all are so.
It all seems frail to me.
Many can seem lesser when faced with a terrifying vision of the future.
Is that how you see me?
You haven't made your will manifest today, but I fear that day is fast approaching.
Would a future I shape really be so terrible?
A future shaped by you would have no room for moral men in it.
You are a great teacher, Cato. I have learned so much from our disagreements. I have learned to spot the nice edge hidden in logic. I've learned that passion can burn in even the coldest, most stoic hearts. And I've learned that though most hearts can be turned, there are some that can only simply be pierced. I must go now to vote. And I think as I make my way to the ballot, that your argument was surprisingly convincing.
Yes. Full throats may be slit, and full hearts may be pierced. There are some in the Senate who see you for who you will be, Caesar. And they have learned those lessons too.